kept, and his students, his disciples after him, and they taught their students after them to keep the Passover and the rest of the festivals of Yahuwah. Now we look at the New Catholic Encyclopedia and we read, since Bede the Venerable, the origin of the term for the feast of Messiah's resurrection has been popularly considered to be from the Anglo-Saxon Iestre, a goddess of spring. The Old High German plural for dawn, Eosteron, whence has come the German Ostern and our English Easter. Therefore, according to the Catholics, who originated the observance of Easter and spread it throughout the earth, the origin of the name of Easter, which cannot be found termed this way in the scriptures, actually refers to Iestre and Iostre and Ostern and a goddess known as Ostara and Ishtar of Babylon even. Some Aramaic speakers could not properly pronounce the sheen in Ishtar, and they rendered it Istar and Estar. It's very important to understand this because we see that phonetically the etymology of Ishtar and
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppin', Easter's on its way, bringing every girl and boy baskets full of Easter joy, things to make your Easter bright and gay. He's got jelly beans for Tommy, colored eggs for Sister Sue. There's an orchid for your mommy, and an Easter bonnet too. Oh, here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, happy Easter day.
Each year on the first Sunday after the full moon, which takes place after the equinox in the spring, over 1 billion Christians and Catholics celebrate the religious holiday known as Easter. And the secular world observes this holiday as well and embraces it because of the mystical and mysterious elements associated with it, such as egg-laying bunny rabbits. And let us not forget those ethnic foods which are attached to the holiday as well, such as Easter ham and hot cross buns, and the activities such as hunting for Easter eggs and rising up early for Sunday sunrise church services. Easter really brings people together. Easter is by far the most attended Sunday of the year for most U.S. churches. According to Lifeway Research, a study released in 2012 asked 1,000 Protestant pastors for the 3 highest attendance Sundays, and 93% responded Easter, followed by Christmas, which was followed by Mother's Day. Easter is a very important time for churches. It brings in most of their attendance in the year, and it brings in a great amount of money into their congregations. In fact, in the United States of America and other countries, giving to religious organizations is at its highest on Easter, outranking even Christmas for the amount of donations that are received. tens of millions of individuals attend a religious service at least once a week. That number goes up by even 25% on Christmas, which goes up nearly 50% on Easter Sunday. Many churches even have to have multiple services just to accommodate the massive influx that will be visiting their congregation during that particular time of the year. And this is a major opportunity for donations. And these donations literally see the churches through the harsh summer months when donations are at its lowest, because many of their attendants may be on vacation or they may be preoccupied with other matters. And then during Thanksgiving, those donations begin to pick up again, preparing for the Christmas season, and on the cycle continues. It is very important to modern Christianity that Easter does not go away anytime in the near future. Easter is big business all over the world. However, in the United States of America, the National Retail Federation estimates that Americans will collectively spend $17.3 billion on clothing, food, decorations, and other holiday items in 2017, which is up from $16.4 billion in 2016. They will spend $2.4 billion strictly on candy for the holiday, up from an estimated $2.2 billion the previous year. This is major in a climate of recession that the United States of America has seen. Easter keeps the economy afloat along with other holidays such as Christmas and Halloween. You may be surprised to learn that the term Easter actually does not appear in any of the manuscripts of the Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek documents that constitute what people call today the Bible or the book. However, one very popular translation does contain the term Easter appearing once, the King James Version. However, this was a mistake and it was fixed in the New King James Version, and it can be easily proven. We will examine this further in Acts chapter 12, verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. This is easily checked today. We can look at the Greek manuscripts and we see clearly that the term Easter or its equivalent does not appear, but rather what does appear is the term Pascha, which comes from the Hebrew Pesach. And Pesach refers to the Passover, the festival that is recorded within the scriptures that marks the great exodus out of Egypt, that the Israelites came out of bondage by the mighty right hand of their Elohim, Yahuwah. And this is very important to note because Passover appears throughout the scriptures, especially in the Tanakh, what is called the Old Testament by some, and then there is also references throughout the Brit Hadashah, the renewed covenant, or what people call the New Testament. Those references in the New Testament which refer to Pesach always have the Greek Pascha there. So therefore we know that this is referring to the Passover and not Easter. This can further be verified by checking the Aramaic Peshitta. And in the Aramaic Peshitta, we see the term Pisgah, which is an attempt at transliterating the term Pesach. And this is further proof that the term Easter does not appear, but rather the Passover. And even if it were applying to some festival called Easter, it clearly is not a festival that any of the disciples observed. This can be verified in the Encyclopedia Britannica, but most importantly in the scriptures, of course. But even the Encyclopedia Britannica in the 11th edition, volume 8, on page 828 reads, "There is no indication of the observance of the Easter festival in the New Testament or in the writings of the Apostolic Fathers. The first Christians continued to observe the Jewish festivals, though in a new spirit, as commemorations of events which those festivals had foreshadowed. Thus the Passover, with a new conception added to it of Messiah as the true Paschal Lamb. Therefore, we know that people originally understood that in the renewed covenant, in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, that the Passover was the primary observance that Yahushua, the Hebrew Messiah, kept, and his students, his disciples after him, and they taught their students after them to keep the Passover and the rest of the festivals of Yahuwah. Now we look at the New Catholic Encyclopedia and we read, since Bede the Venerable, the origin of the term for the feast of Messiah's resurrection has been popularly considered to be from the Anglo-Saxon Iestre, a goddess of spring. The old High German plural for dawn, Eosteron, whence has come the German Ostern and our English Easter. Therefore, according to the Catholics, who originated the observance of Easter and spread it throughout the earth, the origin of the name of Easter, which cannot be found termed this way in the scriptures, actually refers to Iestre and Iostre and Ostern, and a goddess known as Ostara and Ishtar of Babylon even. Some Aramaic speakers could not properly pronounce the sheen in Ishtar, and they rendered it Istar and Estar. It's very important to understand this because we see that phonetically the etymology of Ishtar and Easter are from a Semitic or a Shemitic source. Though it is true that the exact term Easter never appears as a festival observed by the early believers in the scriptures, it has to be understood that the female deity who is called Easter, Iestre, and Ostara is mentioned in the scriptures by the Shemitic name Ashtaroth and Ashtoreth, also called Malka Hashemayim, or the Queen of the Heavens. This is very important to understand because the creator of the universe, Yahuwah, has warned his people not to worship Ashtaroth, who is the consort of Baal or Baal. The Hebrew scriptures and archaeology from ancient Babylon will tell us a great deal about the origins of the female deity known as Ishtar or Easter. According to Bereshith, that is the book of Genesis, Nimrod was the founder of ancient Shinar and Babel or Babylon, the region known as Mesopotamia, the cradle of human civilization. Nimrod was the all-supreme ruler of the region. The scriptures tell us that he was a mighty hunter against the face of Yahuwah, and he became a tyrant, a mighty tyrant, one who was worshipped in the earth. The scriptures will tell us that he was a mighty one. In the book of Genesis, or Bereshith, Nimrod decides to unite all of humanity under his rulership and build an immense tower which would reach the heights of the heavens. This building project displeased Yahuwah, the creator of heaven and earth, and he confounded and confused their languages, making it impossible for the project to be finished. The loyal subjects of Nimrod left the region, but took with them his religious political system and expressed it in their various languages throughout the earth. The name of Nimrod's queen was Sumar Amat, which has been Hellenized to Semiramis. They were worshipped by their subjects and revered as deities. Nimrod has been identified in the religions of the occult as the great hunter, the horned one, and identified as the chief sun deity, along with many other titles. Nimrod is known by thousands of aliases, such as Baal, Molech, Jupiter, Zeus, and on and on. Sumar Amat, his queen, was known as the Queen of the Heavens, the Virgin Mother, Ashtaroth, Astarte, Ishtar, Easter. The Chaldeans identified her with the planet and deity Venus. The Greeks and Romans identified her with Astarte, Artemis, Venus, and Diana of the Ephesians. Nearly all female deities of the ancient and modern world reflect her in some way, shape, or form. Legend has it that Sumar Amat fell from the sky in the river Euphrates in a giant egg. To signify her divinity, to the people she performed a sign of changing a hare into an egg-laying bunny rabbit. Thus, the symbols of the egg and rabbit were adorned by her priest and used in various fertility rituals. The religions of Mesopotamia and the surrounding areas have it that Nimrod, who is Baal, was slain for his rebellion against the Creator. Supposedly, according to legends, in that region he was cut into little pieces and his body parts were scattered throughout the region, similar to what we see with Osiris in Egypt. In an attempt to resurrect the fallen deity, his wife Sumar Amat, or Semiramis, found and assembled all of his parts with the exception of his reproductive organ. Sumar Amat commemorated his reproductive organ by setting up decorated trees called Asherim, which the scriptures identify clearly and forbid constantly the decorating of sacred trees. And she erected obelisks to commemorate Nimrod's everlasting phallic symbol. After Nimrod's death, Sumar Amat was found pregnant. She claimed that Nimrod had ascended into the heavens and impregnated her through the rays of the sun because now he was the chief sun deity. Thus, her child was born during the winter solstice, around December the 25th, or Christmas today, and she named him Tammuz. And Tammuz was the baby son of the god. And Tammuz was gorged to death by a wild boar when he was 40 years old. To honor his life, worshippers of the ancient Babylonian mystery religion would mark their foreheads with the T for Tammuz and fast for 40 days, 1 day for each year of the life of Tammuz. Their fast would conclude on the first day of the week at sunrise after procession of the vernal equinox on the holiday known as Ishtar or Easter. To remember baby Tammuz, who had grown to be 40 years old, the faithful would break their fast by feasting on swine because swine were the cause of the death of Tammuz. Therefore, eating the swine was a sacred rite to be done on Ishtar Sunday during that time. Early in the morning, on the vernal equinox, priest of Ishtar or Easter would impregnate virgins on Ishtar's altars. On the opposite side of the altar, priests would slay 3-month-old babies that had been born from the previous year's celebrations and offer them to the deity Ishtar, known as Ashtaroth also. The priests would then dip eggs that were sacred to Ishtar into the crimson blood of the infants as an ancient fertility rite to bring fertility and to bring rain for the coming season. And these were the abominations that Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, had warned his people to stay far away from. And he told them time after time not to worship idols and not to sacrifice their children to these idols because they are nothing more than demons and devils. Therefore, Ishtar and Easter are to be understood as demons of ancient Babylon.
A first channel with over 25,000 subscribers with over 700 videos was banned off of YouTube. So we building this channel up. Take the time to subscribe and share these videos. We will continue. Remember, this is not a theory, but it is a conspiracy. Believe that.